sausage.
Aye.
Let's go circulating. Maybe you're right, Paul.
Oh, you f***ing cock. Welcome back everyone to another video, and last time you joined us we made our debut in the Ultimate Karting Championship at Whilton Mill, a track that we've done a little bit on in the past, and it went a lot better than expected, making any move happen. But this time we're off to Sunderland up north for the second round at Warden Mill.
Here comes the one and only Will Barnes.
Don't walk in front of the pump, mate!
Warden Mill.
Up north. Austin Powers. Laser.
So whenever you laser up the front, you just put it wherever.
So as is customary with all these big events, including the UKC, we were up at Waterloo for the club race in the week preceding the main event, just to get some extra laps in, as much testing as possible, as much race practice crucially as possible, and even brought Tammy along for the ride, as you will have seen in the previous clips. But you join us now on Friday practice, and you may have seen on the dummy grid there, our front right is looking particularly angry. After a couple of sessions there was some pretty heavy graining, and we're actually quite quick in the second session, one of the fastest out there. But I'm just showing you this clip here because it quite literally sums up the rest of the weekend and the UKC round. Bit of a tight exit here off the scales in the scrutineering area, but yeah, I just feel like this beautiful clip really just summarises the rest of our time at Waterloo. So yeah, this was a bit of a weird weekend really. Started off with some good speed on the Friday when the track grip was low, but as the weekend went on and the track gripped up, we struggled to really keep up with the rest of the pack. And to add to this, we really weren't comfortable in the seat and the kart. Now, some tracks I could sort of get around it, but visiting all these faster tracks this year, this is really, really noticeable. Noticed it a little bit in pre-season testing at Wigan at the start of the year, but through the bouncing, I just can't keep my foot steady on the throttle, and it's really becoming an issue here. Alex trying to, yeah. So this is from one of our laps on Friday, following, I think that's Oscar Hull in front of us. But yeah, very different to when we came here in February, when it was quite low grip, very cold, very greasy. And yeah, just trying to get back into the swing of things. Not my cleanest laps by any means, but we were chipping away at it lap by lap, session by session. We actually got fired off by Guy Cunnington here, or very nearly senior Rotax world champion.
So
I move less, but I can't breathe, so we'll see. Aye. So you join us now on the Saturday, and this was a bit of a topsy-turvy, odd weekend. You might notice there, we've actually come out on a different tyre, as it was announced during this weekend that the UKC meeting would be run on the Comet tyre, which is normally used for X30, and this is all due to the shortage with the Mojos in the UK at the moment. As you will have seen, they're quite a bit of a handful to warm up, as about 3 or 4 karts there went off on the opening couple of corners. This is the K2H tyre, which is the Comet's hard compound, and quite a difference between the Mojos. Now I want you to pay attention here to the karts behind. Most of these will be on the Mojos. Now at this point for the club meeting we're still racing on the Mojo tyre the following day, but all us UKC lot, or some of us, have got a hold of some Comets and are just trialling them ahead of next weekend. After all, this is practice for next weekend as far as we're concerned, and you can see here Amelia Nelson coming past, and the yellow marking on the sidewall of the tyre denouncing the Mojo D5. So a lot of these guys here on D5s, Louis actually doing a solid job. So yeah, it's pretty savage and cutthroat out there. We really struggled on Saturday trying to get any sort of confidence on these tyres, taking quite a bit longer to warm up, and this little excursion didn't help. We didn't actually hit the curb or anything, but we had another clutch failure in the exact same spot as last time. And this time the clutch nut hadn't actually broken, it had just come off, so clearly it wasn't done up properly before or whatever, which is when we were here. But yeah, but you can also see here, a bit like the porpoise sitting in F1 actually, but yeah, we are clearly a bit too loose in the seat, even with a second rib protector that Louis kindly lent us, just to try pack out the seat. And it's a shame that I didn't get to film the rest of the weekend, because we actually moved to the Jekko seat for the race day. So thanks to Nigel at HRS for that. Suited and booted for the final. Last one of the weekend. Last one of this warm-up round. IKR, Warden Mill. And here's a little ritual going. Get the feel. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, slowly. That's more like it. Does that feel me?
Mango, innit? Mango pharmacy. Oh. Oh.
Did you expect me to be like this?
Tammy, first weekend karting done. What do you think? What do we think?
Fucking brilliant, mate.
Fucking
Brilliant.
mint.
It's fucking mint, bruv. Right.
I think she's the one, lads.
Stop.
So, almost what feels like a couple of days later, we're back up to Sunderland again for the UKC race weekend. Mate, you want to be on YouTube? You want to be on YouTube, our kid? You want to be on YouTube? Hey. Hey. Who's a good boy? Oh. Zoom right out.
Oh shit. It's a long way. Road trip!
Where to?
Sunderland! Woo!
Let's go. I don't stop! Well, this is suboptimal. So yeah, we didn't actually get in till midnight thanks to a 4-hour delay at Dartford. Good way to start the weekend.
Right. Where are we off to?
Not the third session. We're actually off to go to Euro Car Parts, 6.9 miles away, to go and get some more brake pads. Come on, send it, send it, send it, send it, send it, send it. So, update. Euro Car Parts didn't have me. Let's sort of go back on ourselves 20 minutes. Hopefully, these Alright. Right, stop number 3. Now in Shields. Still trying to find these bloody brake pads. Yeah, everywhere we go. We have some brake pads. So, nice.
Breakthrough.
Yeah?
How did your tyre change go?
It was amazing.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah.
It made everything happen. It was beautiful. It was so quick that no one saw it.
It was so quick, nobody noticed.
Yeah.
Well, it's really bad that I'm noticing it right now and saying it out loud on my microphone, isn't it?
No, it's really good though.
Yeah, good. No worries. He asked me to do it, not me.
Yeah, I saw that. So yeah, back to Friday practice we go, and as you'll notice, we're out here for the final session of the day. We've got a couple sessions, well, a session and a couple of laps in the morning, until our side pod bar fell off, and then we realised that we needed some new brake pads, and we didn't have any on us, so we had to go travelling around Sunderland looking for some EBC brake pads. And yeah, it was a bit of a struggle to say the least. Track had changed quite a bit since the start of the day. And you might notice a few minor alterations to the car. Obviously we've got the Jacko seat in now, but the steering wheel is actually angled slightly more towards us. So we've got a wedge fitted in there, so we can actually push on it more and not use our shoulders as much.
Well,
Yeah?
I'm not on my period anymore.
You're what?
I'm not on my period anymore. Seriously?
So it is Saturday morning and 2 more practice sessions before we get into the races here at the UKC. And yeah, as I was saying on the Friday, last session wasn't the best. Really struggled to get back into it. Last couple of laps we're getting there, but we might have actually ended up picking up a small injury. Just tweaking a curb awkwardly in the chicane. I don't know what I did, whether I pulled a rib or cracked it, or it felt a bit like I cracked a rib. Because yeah, hit it just ever so awkwardly, and it just hurt like crazy after that. It wasn't too bad after a bit of sleep, but then as soon as we get into this Saturday practice, I could feel it kicking in. At this point, just decided to drive through it. Didn't have a lot of time before we were on the grid again for the first heat.
Cameron's not enthusiastic at all. Come on.
So yeah, 3 heats now to determine our grid positions for the pre-final and finals, or the super heat and super final, whatever you want to call it. And this would be our front start, starting I think what was meant to be P10, but because of a couple of breakdowns, you see a car on the side of the track there. Freiberg there, for some reason, is on the wrong side of the grid. She figures it out eventually though, and because of the couple of carts that either lost it or broke down, we've actually managed to just sneak up a couple of rows rather cheekily, and we're right in the box seat now for a cracking start right on the back of Lorenzo Cordell, and away we go. And a couple of the front runners are going to come to blows. They're all going to go to the inside. We think, why not, let's try be a hero, brave around the outside. It worked really well for us in the IKR round the week before. We went around the outside of 4 people. Doesn't quite pay off here, but we don't really lose anything by trying it, so it's worth giving it a go. Now, I rather foolishly leave the inside open. Does mean I can get a slightly better exit afterwards, and then just my luck, all the guys in front decide to kill each other. So suddenly we're in P3 after what was meant to be technically a P10 start. Obviously it does not last for long though, because we really do not have the pace here, and we are struggling ever so much around this circuit, especially through these bumpy sections. Our teammate Ben Ballou now in front of us. We're going to throw a half defensive line into the hairpin just to cover up from the trainer cars behind. Tristan Rennie right on our backside. He's actually going to push us slightly wide, and we're going to lose out 2 places, which I was thrilled about. This is one of our problem corners. The first and last corners, I think, were really where we struggled. Just could not get the exit we need. Tyres also not up to temperature fully at this point, although it's much easier this weekend than previously, with it being positively tropic for this time of year in April, and a lot more rubber down. The 66 is actually a car we were battling with in the IKR and we can actually stay with. This weekend on the Comets, however, it's a very different story. We're struggling a bit more. Louis Weaver, our teammate behind, coming through the field. He's a very quick driver and he should be someone we can try and latch onto. And I know he's not going to make a rash move. For what it's worth, Louis gets a great run. Freya tries to follow through there, and as you can see, it didn't really work. And we're going to lose a handful of positions as a result. And actually gets driven over by a teammate.
Actually, we've got a replay here for you if you want to see it for the first time. Classic down the inside that becomes a bit messy as they take the second one. Any initial comments?
I don't know. It's unfortunate.
So just a quick replay then from my point of view. Louis obviously goes for the move and I have to turn into the corner at some point, and Fred didn't really have much of a car alongside. I mean, fair enough for going for it, because obviously when someone goes for a move you always try to follow through, as Nelson does here. But yeah, just didn't really have enough of a car alongside us to really complete the manoeuvre. But hey, it happens. Moving on, we're now really struggling, both with just pace generally, and as the race wears on a bit, the rib issue from Friday is starting to come back, and it's coming back worse than it was before. And our pace is non-existent. Number 37, the guy who stole our number, has gone down the inside. We're not having any of that though. We're going to keep our foot in, no matter how much he tries to squeeze us. And with the better line and the better traction, we're going to move ahead and retake that position, heading on to what I think is the final lap. And yeah, disappointing heat. We did hold 7th for most of that race. It was just that incident. We didn't really have the pace to hang on really anyway, but yeah, it's a shame. We're going to cut now to our second heat. This, I believe, was our back start. And yeah, just bogging like crazy out the final corner. It's always a problem on the rolling starts with such big fields that when pole is already accelerating, you're just coming around the last corner, and it's very easy to bog down in these Rotax Max karts. And yeah, this start, not one of my trademark good starts, just nowhere really to go, just getting boxed in all the wrong places, losing our momentum. It's just painful because you just don't feel like you've got a lot you can do. And as the laps wear on, if you can't tell by the grunting, my ribs were really starting to kill now at this point. I'm all over the place. Yeah, physically with like arms and neck and arms and neck and all that, I don't feel bad at all. I don't feel like I'm tired. It is literally just the pain from my ribs. You lean a lot on them in the seat when you're going around these fast corners and through the bumps, as you can see through here. Yeah, I just lose so much time through here and on the exit of the hairpin where the bumps are, and you're trying to drive through it. It's not pleasant at all, and you can't really we actually get punted for good measure there. And yeah, that was the end of a very disappointing heat.
Good.
So our final heat of the day, and I believe this is our middle start. Now again, we're going to try around the outside because everyone always hugs the inside and defends like crazy, and it really isn't working for us today. But hey ho, we're going to try it anyway because we're at the back. So why not make any move happen at all cost? Just trying to tuck in here, just be patient, thinking about a move, but don't really get the exit off the corner that we need. Jamie Perrelli behind us, he's a very experienced and very fast driver. So when he goes for the move and the half punt, I wanted to try and follow through there, but didn't work. Sam Gornall, the round 1 winner, actually behind us now, and we managed to hold him off for a lap or so. Just trying to settle into this race, not overdrive it, just be smooth, calm, collected, and just pick them off where we can. We're starting at the back, well, in the middle, and yeah, that is one of my problem corners, especially with the ribs through the bumps mid-corner. I was really struggling through there, and although I managed to hold off Sam Gornall for a lap or so, the race then quickly took a downward spiral, and yeah, someone else's move on just did not really help us there in the slightest. We've now lost our momentum, and yeah, we made up a couple of places with collisions, but that was literally it. I had no answer to the pace of the people who normally I was ahead of at the Whilton round. So right, it is now Sunday, a new day, and we are starting our pre-final or our super heat to try and qualify for the super final from pretty much being second to last on the grid. Let's see what we can do. We actually got a decent start that time, or at least we were closer to the carts in front than we have been most of the weekend. But that was actually a false start because people weren't in position, and then we bogged right down again on this start. But hey, we just got to send it. We've got to make any move happen and just go for it, because chances are we're not going to qualify for the super final unless half the field crash. So yeah, just go out there, enjoy it, try and improve, use it as a bit of a test weekend. We weren't actually out in the kart at all between round 1 and 2, and then here we go, we try to keep our foot in when we get squeezed by Isaac Lord there, and I think we actually demolished his rear bumper on that left hand side. So oh no, anyway, as we now start to hunt down Max Keppel, who got past us on the start, and yeah, reeling this train in quite rapidly actually. Dosed up on painkillers like crazy before this race, and it really helped. But yeah, as I was saying, the seat time before this race wasn't optimal. Obviously we did the Warden IKR round, but before that we had 4 weeks out of the kart, whereas most of this field, even the back markers really, are out, you know, at least a couple times a month. A lot of them are out almost every weekend, racing at various clubs around the country, and we can barely afford to do the warm-up round and the UKC, let alone all of this extra testing, all these extra tyres. So yeah, this was a bit of a struggle bus weekend, but it's coming better in the final. We're a lot smoother on the wheel. I'm wiggling the wheel around all over the place. I'm obviously hurting a bit with my ribs, as you can hear. Yeah, as a couple cars get taken off there, I was just all over the place this weekend, and it is completely my fault. I'm not gonna blame the car. I was not driving well this weekend, and a combination of 2 weekends up north with shifts and other responsibilities, it's definitely a lot harder than it looks. And trying to get the testing in, scraping the money to go racing, you know, it's not as easy as it looks. And I was knackered obviously from work all week, working late all week, and then getting into and having to drive for like 10 hours with all the delays, not a lot of sleep, straight into Friday practice. It's tough, but hey, we're making it work at the moment now. Starting to come back towards max cap. The last couple of laps have been some of our fastest of the weekend, despite being on 4 session old tyres now. So I think the painkillers are helping. They're going to wear off a bit towards the end of the race, and it's a longer race. But we are right on max Keppel now. Able to carry a bit more corner speed now. We can lean on our ribs just a little bit more. I was kind of saved by the fact that on Sunday I only had a warm-up and this final, or this pre-final. We're now as close as we've ever been to max all race. We're going to go for the move down the inside. He's been holding tight lines in here awkwardly last couple of laps. Now we have our opening. He's going to come straight back at us, which I was pretty annoyed about. But we have the traction, and we're going to slide it into the chicane very nicely indeed. Here's our outlet from my view. Pretty straightforward. Tried to run him out a little bit, but he tried to come straight back at us, and yeah, it's not always the best thing to do when you're struggling for pace and don't really want to squabble with him. So I signal for us to push forward and try catch the cuts in front. But yeah, I was quite happy with that move, and my pace was much better at this point in the race. We actually had this Sam Pollitt racing car go for an absolutely massive send on us a couple of laps later, and I managed to hold them off. And there wasn't a last lap board, so about 3 laps later he goes for the move, and had I been aware that that was the last lap, I would have covered that quite easily. I was struggling with my ribs the last couple of laps. The pain started to kick in, and yeah, I found out there it was checkered flag. Didn't get a warning that it was going to be the last lap, so a bit of a shame we lost that place at the end, but we made up a couple more with nose cone penalties, so an okay recovery in the end. Escaped a nose cone penalty all weekend as well. So yeah, the warm-up weekend was much better on the D5s and better pace. And I think a combination of the Comets being shattered and not a lot of seat time really led to an ultimately pretty disappointing result this weekend. I only have myself really to blame for most of that. The car was, there wasn't anything wrong with the car. Luke did a great job on the spanners as always, so thanks to him and the team. And
They gave up on the last.
my supporter wasn't too upset.
Why?
Hold on, you did really good.
That wasn't very good.
You did.
Very good was a bit of an understatement. I prefer the term shit. But yeah, Louis and Ben made it through to the super final in seniors. And Louis actually managed to achieve second in the super final. So a massive congratulations to him. Really deserved that result. Again, some of the best drivers in the country. So yeah, that was really nice to see. And hopefully we can learn off him in the coming races. So we're very lucky to have the right people in the team. But yeah, next time you see us, we'll be up in the hills in Wales, North Wales for GYG. See you then.
Can't park there, man.